We well deserve having this moment together. Alone, with the storm raging around us to protect us from the world. Drink, my angel. Let us toast each other. It's real mountaineer's wine. What a change for us after that awful ceremony. Frederick, you were pulling such a face. What? It was the crown. It was not made for you, my love, and the Archbishop had great difficulty in preventing it from wobbling on your head. You nearly burst out laughing. And then there was the Archduchess, telling me every 5 minutes to stand straight and remember my bearing. I did. I passed as in a dream, straight through the crowd, the acclamations and the fireworks and the bombardment of flowers. And in the evening we took a postchaise. And here we are. We are no longer the king and the queen. We are husband and wife, madly in love with each other and supping together. It is hard to believe. In that chaise, I said to myself, it will never be. We shall never be alone. Frederick, listen. Frederick? Frederick! Quick! Make an effort. Stand up. Do you hear me? Stand up. Stand up at once. I'll lift you up. Understand this, you only have a moment to hide it. Someone is coming. Your Majesty! Come in. What is it, Edith? I give you orders to leave me alone and you disregard them. Explain. Are you ill?
It was so serious, I thought I might venture to...
What is so serious? Have you seen a ghost? What is wrong? It is certainly serious to disobey me. Explain, Fräulein, if you can.
The police.
The police? What police?
Your Majesty's police. It was they who were shooting the men below.
I don't understand your explanations in the least. Try and be more explicit.
A regular manhunt has been organized in the mountains after a malefactor. He had entered Kron's Castle Park.
Really? And who is this strange individual for whom the police organize manhunts?
A murderer.
He killed someone?
No, Your Majesty, he wanted to.
Whom?
You. Your Majesty may now understand my anxiety and that there was good reason for my incurring her displeasure and disobeying her.
Oh, please, no tears. Am I crying? Am I dead? No. And may I know if the officer in charge has any ideas to the criminal's identity?
Your Majesty knows him. The criminal was the author of a poem which was secretly published and which the Queen showed the great weakness of liking and learning by heart.
Do you mean the end of royalty?
I'd rather I did not have pronounced that title, Your Majesty.
You are really incredible. Well, my dear Edith, you have found me safe and sound. The storm is passing, the police are watching, and you at last can go and sleep. Don't disturb me again, I might take it amiss next time.
Your Majesty. Would Her Majesty permit me at least to close the window? I shouldn't sleep if I felt Her Majesty was right over here and had that great window open onto the unknown.
Close the window, Edith. Close it. It does not matter now in the least. Well, my dear sir, did you hear all that was said? I suppose there's not much we don't know about each other. What is your name? You refuse to tell me your name. All right, I'll tell you. You are called Stanislaus. You published under the title The End of Royalty, and under the pseudonym of Azrael, a good name, the Angel of Death. A short poem which is meant to be an attack against me. To me, there is no such person as Stanislaus. You are Azrael, the Angel of Death, and for me you should have no other name. Come here. Come here. This is the king's portrait. It was painted during our engagement. He was 20. How old are you? The king, you know this, was assassinated in a post-chaise. We were going to Krantz after a wedding ceremony, and a man leapt onto the footboard with a bouquet in his hand. I thought he was pressing the flowers warmly to Frederick's breast, and I laughed. The flowers concealed a knife. The king was dead before I'd realized what had happened. But here's a detail you would not know. When the knife was pulled from his breast, the blood spurted onto his knees. Eat, drink. You must be hungry and thirsty. I am not asking you to speak to me. I am asking you to sit down. Take this seat. It is the king's. And if I offer it to you, it is because I have decided to treat you as an equal. As for me, I can no longer consider you as a man. My dear sir, you are my death. It is my death I am hiding. My death I am saving. My death I am caring for. Make no mistake about that. They killed the king because he wanted to build a theater. And they want to kill me because of my building of castles. Our families are madly devoted to art. They wanted to become showpieces themselves. My dream is to become a tragedy. And so I shut myself off from the world in my castles. Since the king died, I have been dead. But mourning, however great, is not true death. My death must be like the king's. And to achieve that, I must not take any road which chance offers and on which I might lose my way and not reach him. I've even procured from my chemist a poison, which I keep here on my neck. It is marvelous. You know you are carrying your death within you, and no one is aware of it. But I shall not use it. I soon realized that destiny must act by itself. For 10 years, I have been consulting a ghost whose mouth never utters a sound. For 10 years, nothing has been said from without. 10 years of waiting. 10 years of horror. I was right to love storms. I was right to love lightning and its terrifying mischief. The lightning cast you into my room. To kill me will be difficult. I grant you that. You will have to become a hero, kill suddenly on an impulse is nothing. But to kill deliberately, in cold blood, requires a far stronger character. You can no longer avoid your deed. It is within you. It is you. Though I should very much dislike to be the victim of your murder, it would suit me admirably to be killed by a hero. That's more like it. Upset things, break them, send them flying. Be a storm. The queen? What do I know of a queen? Only what she says, and that may be nothing but deception. What do I see of a queen? A woman in ceremonial dress playing for time. But enough of all that. Let us settle our own affairs. You are my prisoner. A free prisoner. Have you a knife, a pistol? You may keep them. I give you 3 days to do me the service which I expected you. If, however, you spare me, I will not spare you. I hate weakness. Your only regular contact in crimes will be with me. I will say that you are my new reader, and that to introduce you into crimes I contrived the romantic actions of this night. Nothing I do surprises them. The day after tomorrow, Fräulein von Berg, who keeps the Archduchess informed, will have divulged this scandal. So you see, we haven't a day to lose. And I repeat, if you do not kill me, I will kill you. The storm is past. Such peace. Snow trees and stars, and the moon circling our ruin with its own. How brief are storms? How brief is violence? Everything subsides and sleeps. Are the targets set up? Yes, the gun is clean. Tony gave you the new bullets, I expect.
Your Majesty.
You may go now. that you, young man? Don't be surprised at seeing me armed. I was target shooting. I like shooting game less and less, but I like to shoot. Are you a good shot?
Not a bad one, I believe.
Have a try. Stand where I did. A bullseye. Congratulations. I'd fired slightly high and to the left. Be seated. I hope that bandage isn't bothering you too much, that you were able to sleep in Krantz.
Yes, ma'am. I slept very well, and my knee doesn't hurt anymore.
Capital. I should like to hear you read. After all, you were appointed reader.
At your pleasure.
Look. Sit here. Be careful. It's loaded. Open your book and read. You can read anywhere in Shakespeare.
Scene 4. Another room in the same castle. The Queen's apartment. Hamlet. Come. Come and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part. Queen. What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Polonius, behind. What ho! Help! Help! Hamlet drawing his sword. How now, a rat? Dead for a ducat. Dead.
I don't like blood. And Hamlet is too much like a prince in my family. Read something else. Here. Here. You will not refuse to read me your poem. I know it by heart. But I should like to hear it read by you. Read. I'm listening.
The Archbishop warned the Queen. You must prepare yourself, for death is at your door. Wincing and grimacing, the Queen began confessing to the Archbishop a list of crimes in which murder, incest, and treachery counted for but little.
Stopping her mouth, her nose, death stalked in.
Death stalked in and looked around. And as she bowed her way out, the stench and the candles in the windows showed that it was all over. Then the fireworks blossomed in the sky, and the wine poured over the little dance floors hastily erected in the streets. And everywhere the heads of drunks went rolling merrily about. Enough of all this.
You surely can't be a coward.
Coward, did you say? You call me a coward because I won't pick this pistol up off the table and shoot you in the back.
We made a pact.
What pact? Tell me. You decided, as you decide everything, that I was your destiny. You dare not commit suicide. That would not be grand enough for you. You want me to do it for you.
Did you not come to Krantz to kill me?
You stopped a moment to think that I might be a man? That there are other people? That they also think, exist, suffer, and live? You couldn't possibly understand. You only think of yourself.
I forbid you.
I forbid you to interrupt me! Did I interrupt you last night? I appeared out of the dark of which you know nothing, of which you can guess nothing. You probably think my life began here at the window of your castle in Krantz. I didn't exist before, save for a poem which stirs your senses. And suddenly I become a specter, which is your death. Rubbish. Your room is warm, luxurious. It's cut off from the world. And in it you plague with suffering. And then I arrived. Where do you think I came from? From the outer darkness. From all that isn't you. And who sought me in that darkness? Who made of me that creeping sleepwalker, tiring himself out, and only hearing the sounds of the dogs, the shots, and the pounding of his own heart? You. You did. For you. You are not of the kind that chance visits, are you? You dream of being a masterpiece. But there's no masterpiece unless God has a hand in it. You cloud, you live your dream. Spending whole fortunes, building temples to yourself. You were superbly unaware of our miseries. Yes. Someone killed your king. Is that my fault? The dangers of your trade.
In killing the king, they killed me.
So little that you now hope destiny will kill you. You adored the king. But what sort of love was that? You were destined for the throne from your earliest childhood. You were led before a man of whom you knew nothing beforehand. And then you were wedded, and he was killed. Now take me. Since my childhood days, I am choking with love. After so much watching, waiting, and seeing nothing turn up, I decided to seek it out. I was no longer content to be ravished by a countenance. I had to be ravished by a cause, to give myself up to it, to plunge into it and disappear. When I entered your room last night, I was an idea. A crazy idea. The idea of a madman. I was one idea confronted by another. This room. This was to become my wedding chamber. For a blood wedding. I reckoned all this without your profound comment. And scarcely had I ceased to become a man when you had become a woman. You were certainly expert in spells and enchantments. To make a hero of me, you brought into play every power a woman normally does when she wants to make a man fall in love with her. And the worst of that was you were successful. At that point, I ceased to know or to understand. I fell asleep for what seemed hours, but was in reality only a second. I dreamed dreadful dreams. I trembled. I struggled. I strove, wondering the whole time how anyone could endure such suffering and not die.
I command you to say no more.
I thought one of the things that you had decided upon was that we should ignore etiquette and treat each other as equals.
That was a pact between my death and me. It was not a pact between a queen and a young man who climbs in at windows.
Someone has climbed in at your window, has he? Well then shout! Call out! Let your guards take me! Hand me over to justice! These are the reactions of a queen!
It is you who are Caeli. You'll stir up the whole castle.
Shall I? I don't care if I'm arrested and executed. Can't you see I'm going mad?
Shoot me.
Don't tempt me.
Must I repeat my words? If you do not kill me, I will kill you.
Well, kill me then! Finish me off. Let's get it over with. Does the sight of blood upset you? No, my heart would know one joy. If my blood could arouse in you one feeling.
Forgive me, Your Majesty. What is needed?
But Count Walter.
Good day, Count.
Greetings, Your Majesty. I hope you'll excuse my appearance before her in disguise. It is a long road and a rough one.
I wanted to have that road repaired a long time ago, but I feel this expense should figure on the civil list, and our ministers consider it as incumbent on me. The road will stay as it is.
The state's for Your Majesty, and we are practicing economy.
My dear Count, come to the point. You have come to scold
Your
me
Majesty is
about the
joking.
ceremony of remembrance.
Your Majesty guesses everything before it can be put into words. But there is the clearest indication that the Archduchess is in despair of this misunderstanding between the Queen and her people. If the Queen would deign to show herself, this deplorable misunderstanding would soon disappear.
My absence from the ceremony created, as the newspapers would say, a very bad impression.
I had the post-chaise driven at all speed. Your Majesty can be sure of that. But the crowd must have been very disappointed on seeing this empty coach. The Archduchess feels, if I may repeat her words, that the Queen owed this effort to the memory of her son.
Von Thun, is she not aware that the very reason for my voluntary exile is precisely my grief at the death of her son, and that it is not my way of mourning to sit in a coach in a procession?
The Archduchess knows all that. She's quite aware of it. She is by nature explosive, if I might say so, but she's clear-sighted, a shrewd politician.
I hate politics.
Unfortunately, Your Majesty, politics is the business of monarchs, just as mine is to keep watch over the kingdom, to make investigations, to do the unpleasant jobs. France is a wonderful place. Wonderful. You arrived here yesterday, Your Majesty?
Yesterday morning.
And Your Majesty came from home. The journey must have seemed endless. And that storm. I fear Your Majesty must have had a very bad night.
I adore storms. Besides, I was dead tired and I slept in one of the rooms in the North Tower. I heard nothing.
I'm glad. I feared my manhunt might have caused some disturbance and interfered with Your Majesty's repose.
Oh, fancy my forgetting. Of course, Fräulein von Berg came to ask if I might allow the men to search the park.
We had been shadowing him since the previous day. We lost track of him after he had gone to the village. We organized a regular manhunt. I'm sorry, as this hunt forced us to disturb Your Majesty's solitude. I'm relieved to learn, however, that Your Majesty was not unduly affected.
And of course, you drew a blank. Your man is still at large.
My men do not deserve your reproaches, Your Majesty. They have captured their man.
But how wonderful.
Yes, at dawn. He was trying to get away to the passes. He must have been exhausted. He gave himself up.
Has he been questioned?
I questioned him myself. In 5 minutes, he confessed everything. He's a hothead, but not incorrigible. He gave us the names of his accomplices and the address of their meeting place. A nice little haul for me on my return, I fancy.
Count von Thun, I must congratulate you and thank you for this capture. I had thought your absence yesterday surprising, and I might have wondered if this afternoon's visit were not for the purpose of certifying my death.
Your Majesty is unstable.
I can be, especially towards myself. My dear Count, please tell the Archduchess how deeply grateful I am for her concern over my popularity. Farewell. You may come in. There.
It's monstrous.
That's the court. I'm in the Archduchess's way. Thun promotes murder. He has ceased to be interested in you. You realize that, don't you? If he had not been concealed in this castle, his men would not have been long in doing away with you. It is in fact because he's so sure of having made you disappear that he did not hesitate to mention you to me.
I'm an object of shame.
No. Of isolation. And your solitude has encountered my solitude, that's all. so beautiful about tragedy, and gives it such human and superhuman interest, is that its characters exist above and beyond laws. Who were we last night? You said this: one idea confronted by another. And who are we now? A hunted man and woman. Equals. So you were to kill the queen, Stanislaus. It is done. You have killed her.
Me.
Does a queen accept the idea of someone's entering her bedroom and swooning there? Or of hiding the man who climbs in through her window? Or of anyone's refusing to answer when she questions, or not addressing her by her proper title, or offering her insults? If she does, then she has ceased to be a queen. I tell you, Stanislaus, there's no queen now in France. You have killed her more completely than you intended. When I was a little girl, there were people always pestering me and preparing me for the throne. It's how I was brought up, and I hated it. Frederick was a revelation. I no longer thought of anything but love. I was going to become a woman. I was going to live. I did not become a woman. I did not live. Frederick died on the day that miracle should have occurred. So I shut myself off from the world. And on a stormy night, you came in through my window and disturbed the whole delicate balance of my life.
A peaceful and exacting storm. Night is falling in such silence.
In this corner of the castle, you can't hear anything. You seem cut off from the world. I used not to care for this quiet. Now I do.
Would you like to ask for candles?
I don't move. I don't want anything. I only want the night to stop falling, the sun and the moon to stay where they are now, and for this castle to stay exactly as it is at this moment, and to stay forever thus as if under a spell.
You know, sometimes a balance comes from such an intricate assembly of parts, but it seems incredible. One wonders if the slightest breath would not destroy it.
Let us stay quiet a while. Stanislaus? Pride is a wicked fairy. She must not be allowed to come near. She might touch this moment with her wand and transform it into a statue. There's a woman who is speaking to you, Stanislaus. Do you understand? Stanislaus. I love you. Nothing else matters.
That was the moment I should kill you.
Oh
Then I should never lose you.
my God. Be gentle. Come closer to me. Come. Lay your head on my knee. Ask nothing further of me. I loved you when you first appeared in my room, and to my shame, I was ashamed.
Some dreams are too intense. They wake the sleep.
We must take care, for we are the dream of one who sleeps so profoundly that he is not even aware he is dreaming us.
You have nothing to fear for the coming night. You will stay here under my protection. And tomorrow morning, Tony will take you by a mountain pass to my old shooting lodge. And this lodge overlooks the farm, and I'm sure I can depend upon Stanislaus.
Now listen, God has knotted us together. Don't think that I regret my words, or that I put yours down to a moment's obscurity, or to the confusion into which our souls were thrown. I believe you. Now you must believe me. Tomorrow you will cease to love a poor, skulking fellow waiting to steal into your presence. Assassins, they're made of other stuff. You have not lived. A ghost has been killing you and preventing you from living. I have laid that ghost. I have not killed the queen. The queen must come out of the shadows. A queen who rules and accepts the burdens of a sovereign. Putting against you is right. You make no reply. The ministers know this. Answer. Change your mode of life completely. Return to your capital. Be radiant. Speak to the Archduchess as a queen, not as a daughter-in-law. Crush food. Lift your veil. Show your face to them. No one will show you disrespect. That I can assure you. I will watch your work from afar. When the queen wants to call me to her, I will fly to the peaks where she built her castles. I do not offer you happiness. I offer you our forming together of an eagle with two heads, like the one you bear on your arms.
You built your castles as yours, didn't you? I tell you, they have been awaiting such an evening.
Fräulein von Berg, I'm returning to the court. We will all leave tomorrow 1 o'clock. Order the carriages, my post chaise. Tomorrow at noon you will assemble the light cavalry in the park behind the lake. You will watch this window closely. When I appear there unveiled, the guards band will play the royal anthem. That will be the beginning of my reign. I depend upon your devotion to me and your dedication to my cause. You may go now. Stanislaus, are you pleased with your pupil?
Yes.
Good morning.
Excuse me, Fräulein.
Did I disturb you?
The queen wanted to take some books with her, and instead of getting them ready, I was reading them.
But that is a reader's duty.
To read them to the Queen, yes, not to read them to himself.
Has the Queen gone riding?
When the Queen gave me her instructions, she was in riding habit. She had had Pollock saddled. I should assume she's gone for a gallop in the forest.
Wow! You even know the names of her horses? How clever of you.
The Queen happened to mention that horse's name in front of me. Haven't you seen Her Majesty yet?
The minister, Count von Thun, wishes to see you.
I'm his humble servant.
Please forgive my disturbing you with a surprise visit. In my profession, one can never be sure what one's next move will be. But my profession, strange to say, has a poetic side to it. Depends so largely on imponderables and unforeseeable things. You are a poet, if I am not mistaken, and you should appreciate this better than anyone. I am right, you are a poet.
I do occasionally write poems.
One of those poems appeared in a little left-wing leaflet. The Queen thought it amusing. She has a somewhat mischievous turn of mind and had a large number of copies printed.
I didn't know.
Don't interrupt. The Queen, of course, is free to do as she likes. She enjoys playing that kind of trick. What is of consequence is for me to know what part you played in Krantz. How you managed to obtain from Her Majesty a change of attitude which none of us could hope to achieve.
Well, the Queen had the idea of trying as a reader a poor poet of the town. I could not expect to play any other part.
Of course. We'll not dwell on that. But then, since the complete change, your presence in Krantz has nothing to do with the complete change in the Queen's attitude, perhaps you will not refuse to explain your own.
I'm not sure I understand.
I mean, by what miracle can a violently hostile young writer be brought in the twinkling of an eye to serve the existing form of government? In fact, to overleap the whole hierarchy and then squarely in the Queen's library at the top of the mountain. Such a feat implies uncommon strength and agility.
Well, I'll tell you. The young man's enthusiasm is quickly fired off. Just as soon dies down. The Queen, she's accused of 1,001 sorts of moral basis. I decided to accept her offer in order to judge for myself, and I'll tell you, a mere glance was sufficient to make me realize that I had been laboring all the while under a misconception. The real tragedy is the distance which separates human beings, and the fact that they do not know each other. If they did, perhaps many a sad spectacle and crime would be avoided. As you said yourself, my lord, if the Queen were simply to show herself, this misunderstanding between her and the people would come to an end.
Where the devil did I say that?
Forgive me, my lord. I got carried away telling my own tale. I thought.
You thought what?
I thought Her Majesty, when speaking to me about you, my lord, had quoted that remark.
It is too kind of Her Majesty to remember the slightest observation made by the humblest of her servants. In point of fact, I do seem to recall having made some such remark. It is a widely held belief, and rather obvious. By the way, let me congratulate you on your being so completely in Her Majesty's confidence. She is not normally communicative. She must hold you in high esteem.
I was arranging Her Majesty's books. She was probably talking to herself.
Come toward me. That's enough. Amazing likeness. What does the Queen think of it?
Well, I imagine that my likeness to the king. Insofar as a man of my class can play look like his sovereign, perhaps made a more profound appeal on Her Majesty than my own merits could have done.
I can understand that. Our country does not often produce so well-built a man as our regretted King Frederick. And it's just as well, good Lord. If any unscrupulous persons got wind of this remarkable resemblance, they might use it to work upon people's imaginations and start some legend. My dear sir, our country is alive with legends. We're being choked by them. The Queen's legend is playing great havoc. It stirs up people either against or for her. It's a kind of disorder. I instinctively dislike it. That is why I want to thank you for the very wise course which the Queen has adopted. My dear sir, time is passing and the Queen may discover us here at any moment now. Let us put all our cards on the table. You managed, do not deny it, to obtain for Her Majesty in one day what none of us has managed to obtain in 10 years. I am not asking you for the mystery of your methods. I am merely asking you to help us with your occult influence, to prevent the Queen from courting disaster. Find some reason or other for following the Queen to the capital, and prevent the terrible disorder which is bound to arise if the Queen shows open hostility toward the Archduchess.
And if I stay in Krantz?
Good God. Don't imagine your intervention will remain a secret. The court is a cutthroat place. It will interpret this episode in its own light, which is not a pretty one. You cannot make the court vanish with the flick of a fan. You're not living some fairy tale. They will defame the Queen.
Sir.
They will defame the Queen, and you will be the cause of it. Come, my dear sir. Be reasonable. Help us.
What exactly are you offering me for this?
The greatest possession on this earth. Freedom.
In clear language, what you're offering me is this. If my mysterious influence exists, if I use it to maneuver the Queen into position, hand her over to you tied hand and foot, Count von Foon will undertake to remove my name from the police blacklist. Is that it?
How romantically minded you are. Who's talking of handing over the Queen? We are merely asking you to prevent any regrettable outbursts.
My lord, I was hidden in the library. I heard everything.
I never doubted it for a minute.
The Queen wanted the opinion of a common man. I told her.
May one know what you think?
The Archduchess fears the far-reaching influence of an invisible Queen. That not content with spreading infamous rumors about her, you are scheming to get her back to her capital, to humiliate her, to provoke her beyond endurance in order to pass her off as mad, and obtain from both houses an order of deprivation of her rights, and from the Minister of Finance the order of a seizure of her property.
Sir!
And I did not suspect the worst. What a capital piece of scandal it would make if the Queen were to take with her to the court a young common, a reader without office, who was moreover the image of the dead king.
Be quiet, care, sir!
The Queen was not reigning. Now she is. She will burn your files. She will sweep away your dust. You talk of fairy tales. This is one. A simple wave of the Queen's fan, and your whole edifice will crumble. I would like to be in your shoes.
You are accused of being party to a criminal act, a projected assault against Her Majesty. I have the warrant in my pocket. I arrest you. You can give your explanations at your trial.
How dare you arrest me in the Queen's house?
Why not?
Monster.
And the Queen is a chimera. There are charming monsters.
If I asked one last favor of you,
Ask away. I am renowned for my patience.
the Queen is leaving Krantz at 1 o'clock. You are clearly anxious for this departure to take place. It is in your interest not to disturb Her Majesty's preparation with the interruption that my arrest in the castle would cause.
You asked me for 2 hours' grace. Granted. The castle is surrounded by my men. You could not escape.
The men can be withdrawn. If we can enter her carriage at 1:10, I'll be at your disposal in front of the stable porch. You have my word for it.
A pity we did not manage to come to an understanding.
Majesty?
Leave us. You must have so much to do and to say before our departure. I can no longer bear anyone's presence. I was rather harsh with Edith von Berg. She must put my nervous state behind this departure. The truth is, I cannot live another minute unless I were alone with you.
As soon as you leave me, I fear the dreamer that dreams us will awake. I see you in this dream again.
My love.
Say it again.
My love. My love, my love.
How marvelous.
I wrote like the wind in me while you were arranging my books. Do you forgive me? A passion for living and braving death impelled me to gallop, to cease to be a queen or a woman, simply to be a rider at full gallop. And to think that I thought happiness an ugly and obscene thing. I thought only unhappiness is worth living. Happiness is ugly, Stanislaus, if it is merely the absence of unhappiness. But when happiness is as terrible as unhappiness, it is superb. Look at my neck. This morning my locket twisted and turned and wanted to strangle me. The death that encloses seemed to cry in my ears, "Do you want to live? This is new indeed." I took it off. Let it stay there. I will find it there when I am as old as the Archduchess and you no longer love me.
Throw it in the lake with my poem.
It was through that poem that I came to know you, Stanislaus.
Did I who dared to write those lines?
Did they contain such terrible insults?
Yes, my love.
Then you were thinking all the time of me, darling.
I was haunted by you. I was obsessed by you. And I could not approach you. All I could do was to hate you. And I wrote all the while without admitting to myself that this was a way of writing to you. Do you know what it is to amass unanswered letters? To heap insults on an Indian island with its cruel, mocking smile.
My poor beloved. I shall be in my capital tomorrow. May God help me to succeed. I shall make the attempt for you. You know my old shooting lodge. That will be our mail post. And in a fortnight I will come up to Kreins, and you will come and join me.
Yes, ma'am.
The day before yesterday, this task would have seemed repugnant to me and beyond my strength. Today it amuses me, and nothing shall deflect me from it. That is your work.
Yes, my love.
Make me queen, Stanislaus.
Yes, my love.
I still have some orders to give to Felix. I will come see you before I leave.
What we are undertaking, is give me courage, my queen. I am perhaps less brave than you are, darling.
A two-headed eagle.
Two-headed eagle.
And if one of the heads is cut off, the eagle dies.
With your orders. Don't be too long.
have you done? Answer! Answer at once! Where is that locket? Where is it? Give it to me or I'll strike you with my whip!
The locket is in your room.
Open?
Open.
Swear that's true.
Swear.
Stanislaus!
Before you go, darling, I wanted to admire you just once more. You explained to me how that capsule works.
Careful how you address me. The police are everywhere.
I know.
You know that the police have surrounded the castle.
During your absence this morning, Count von Food warned me that he was going to arrest you. Police are surrounding the castle gate so that I cannot escape.
You were under the Queen's protection. You had nothing to fear.
I did not act out of fear. In a flash, I realized that there was nothing possible between us. That it was far better to free you than disappear while at the height of happiness.
Coward.
Maybe.
Coward! You counseled me, urged me, forced me out of my retirement.
From where I am going, I shall be able to protect you 100 times better, darling.
I never asked for your protection.
My beloved.
Don't come near me. You are dead and you horrify me. You are before your queen. Don't ever forget it again.
That poison must have acted at lightning speed. This is death. To think you are alive and yet living in hell. I am in hell. I am in hell.
You are alive. You are ensconced and you have betrayed me.
If I offended you, darling, forgive me. Speak to me as you spoke to me this morning. Don't you love me, darling?
Love you? You are losing your wits. I order you, I repeat, not to be so familiar in your speech when you address me.
You don't love me.
My feelings can change as quickly as yours can. You have robbed me. Robbed. Don't grimace so, don't writhe. Stay still. I tell you, Count von Food would not have dared to act without my order. Everything here is intrigue. I thought you had noticed that. It embarrassed me to drag you along after me. If Count von Food is waiting for you at my doors, it is by my order. It is my royal pleasure.
You lied!
Sir, you forget where you are, what you are, and who I am.
You lied!
Must I call Count von Food's men?
Here! Right here, did you not tell me that you loved me?
It was then that I lied. Did you not know that queens lie? Think of your poems. In them you described queens as they are.
You are lying. You are trying on me I don't know what horrible experiment. Seeking to know, perhaps, if my love was true, if it was not a young man's passing fancy. Will I steal a poison which you carried upon you like a constant threat of death? I prevent a trial which your enemies would not fail to exploit so that the scandal would fall upon you. I gave you gladly my honor, my candor, my work, my love, my life. Now that I think of it, was it not you who told me what happens when you swallow that capsule? Who explained to me how this delayed suicide works? Was it not you who told me you would remove the locket from your neck and that it was there in the room? Answer me!
I am not accustomed to being interrogated, nor of replying to interrogations. You had nothing to do with the steps I have taken. I flattered your vanity as an author. It was a fine play. Act 1, plotting to kill the queen. Act 2, persuading the queen to reascend her throne. And Act 3, getting rid of an indiscreet hero. You are simple. I did whatever I liked with you. But I did not foresee that you would anticipate my order and take it upon yourself to decree your own death. I was going to hand you over to Count von Food. If decided otherwise, die then.
Oh God, stop this torture!
God does not like cowards either. You should not have betrayed your companions. had the slightest confidence, I ask you, in a person who I did not know, who betrays and flaunts before me an example of his treachery? On what did you base your assumption that I was sincere when you had showed yourself to me to be a turncoat? I could have deceived you to the very last. You would have died, glorifying yourself as the savior of your country. I despise you! Forgive me, my little hero. I had to make you mad. You had to strike me. Thank you for having made me live. And thank you for having made me die. I love you. Stanislaus!